Alright, so in this video, I'm going to explain adding and subtracting rational expressions. You all should have these notes. So at the top of your page, you will see a few examples. If you remember, so as we've learned so far, I guess, rational expressions very similar to fractions, right? A lot of the same rules apply. So as you can probably guess, because you need a common denominator when you're adding fractions, you need a common denominator with rational expressions as well. So these top three examples are already all worked out for you, so I'm not going to go over them. I am going to start down here instead. So you can take a look at those fractions and see, well, fractions and rational expressions and see that they make sense to you. And then if you have any questions, come see me in class. So we move down to example one. In example one, they all have common denominators already. So I'm just going to kind of walk you through pretty quickly what it would look like when you are adding and subtracting rational expressions when it already has a common denominator. All right, so when it already has a common denominator, as you know, we just add the numerators. So this is going to simplify to just x squared plus 3x over x minus 2. I want to state my non-permissible values. So before I actually factor the top here and see if anything simplifies further, I am going to state those non-permissible values. So x cannot equal 2. Then I'm going to factor the top and see if I can simplify any more. So x will factor out of the top, and it leaves me with x plus 3 in brackets. And then I still have my x minus 2 in brackets on the bottom. So nothing is going to cancel there, so that is fully simplified. So that would be my final answer. All right, so not too bad when you already have that common denominator. On top here, we have 10m minus 1, subtract 8 minus 2m, all over 4m minus 3. So already has that common denominator, so I don't have to do anything to get one. I'm just going to simplify the top. So that simplifies 10m minus 1 minus, and then I'm going to put brackets because everything is being subtracted from the other numerator. So it means you are subtracting 8 and you are adding negative 2, right? When you put that negative inside both brackets, it means minus 8 and plus 2m. So that is going to simplify. So combine like terms. So 10m plus 2m is 12m. And negative 1 minus 8 is negative 9. So 12m minus 9 over 4m minus 3. I can factor the top. Before I do that, though, I will state my non-permissible values. So 4m minus 3 means that m cannot equal 3/4. All right. So now I'm going to factor the top and 3 factors out of the top. So it'll leave me with 4m minus 3 in brackets, which of course means that the 4m minus 3 can cancel out from the top and the bottom, which leaves you with just an answer of 3. So this whole thing actually simplifies to 3 and has a non-permissible value of 3/4. So this example here, they already all have common denominators. So when I go to rewrite this, actually I think I'll state my non-permissible values first. So it already has all the same common denominator, so it means x can't equal 3 and x can't equal negative 1. So then from there, I'm just going to rewrite this whole numerator as one big numerator, right? So 2x squared minus x plus 3 minus 6x minus, and then positive 8. So I'm just going to write minus 8 rather than minus and then put that 8 in brackets. It's only one term, so there's no need for the brackets. We are just subtracting 8. And all of that is over our x minus 3, x plus 1. Combine like terms. So there is no other x squared for you to combine with. So it's just going to stay 2x squared. Negative x minus 6x is negative 7x. And, oops, sorry. So plus 3 minus 8 is negative 5. then we are going to see if it simplifies. So the top, the only way it factors is if it's by decomp. So it would be what multiplies for -10, but adds for -7. So 5 and 2, but then it would have to be +10. Don't think that is going to factor because of the -7 and it being a -10. Just 1 second. It does not. All right, so 2x squared minus 7x minus 5 over x minus 3x plus 1 is actually our final answer. And then our non-permissible values of x equals 3 and x equals -1. So then we come down and we look at ones when they don't have a common denominator, excuse me. So the first thing you're going to want to do is factor your expression. So you look at the example, it's already here, it's already all worked out. So I won't go over this too much. I do want to point out this question because that's kind of key. What factor is missing to make the common denominator? That's sort of what you always want to be asking yourself. So when you factor, you get 3 bracket x minus 4. The other factor was x minus 4. So it means your lowest common denominator is actually, so sometimes it helps to state those, it helps you out. So it means your lowest common denominator is actually this, 3 times x minus 4. So then you look over here, this already has an x minus 4, so the only factor it's missing is this 3. So you would only have to multiply the bottom by 3, and then of course, for the fraction to be equivalent, you multiply the top as well. So it means you just multiply the top and the bottom by 3, and then of course, go through and add your numerators or subtract your numerators, whatever. All right, so I don't want to go over that one too much. I want to use our time wisely, so we'll go over some of these other examples. So if we keep that in mind as to what factor is missing, this has 1x and 1y. This has 2 x's. So the only thing that this is missing is the y, right? And then this one's just going to be missing an x. So my lowest common denominator here is going to be x squared y. All right, and then you look at what's missing. Well, this has 1x, so if I multiply the bottom by x, I'll get that x squared that I need, and then I have to multiply the top by x as well. Same thing here, this is just missing the y, so if I multiply the top and the bottom by y, I will be good to go. So x times 2x is 2x squared over x squared y. Yes, you technically could cross out those x squareds, but then you would be back to something that doesn't have a common denominator and you can't add it. So don't do that. With this, you don't really want to simplify until you've added your like terms. Occasionally, simplifying in advance is easier, but you'll know when you get to those ones. And you would have done it before you did anything else. All right, so once you've already started to find your common denominator, you will not simplify until you've actually combined some like terms. All right, so 2x squared plus 4y over x squared y. And then we can factor out 2. And then you will have x squared plus 2y. And then nothing will cancel, so that is your final answer. Only thing I didn't do, oops, was our non-permissible values. So the non-permissible values are x can't be 0 and y can't be 0. All right, so we'll look at this one here. So I want to factor first. I want to factor those denominators. So y squared minus 4 is y plus 2 and y minus 2. So then my lowest common denominator, I'm going to look at what I have for both. This has y plus 2 and a y minus 2. This already has a y plus 2. So it means my lowest common denominator is going to be y plus 2, y minus 2. And then for the first one, what factors are missing? None. It already has that lowest common denominator, so we won't have to touch the first fraction at all, or the first rational expression, I should say. Here, I'm going to have to multiply by what's missing. Well, what factor is missing? Y minus 2. Okay, so y squared minus 20 was not changed. Then, again, I can't simplify anything until I have taken care of the numerators or added the numerators. And right now I can't add the numerators until I actually multiply them together. So that's what I'm going to do in this step here. So y minus 2 times y minus 2 is y squared minus 4x, minus 4y plus 4. You can FOIL that if you need to. You could also think opposite of factoring, right? This would be a perfect square trinomial that would have factored to y minus 2 times y minus 2, however you want to do that. All of that is over our common denominator of y plus 2, y minus 2. I'm going to state my non-permissible values before I start canceling things. So my non-permissible values are y can't equal plus and minus 2. Combine like terms, y squared plus y squared is 2y squared minus 4y, and minus 20 plus 4 is minus 16. Factor out the 2. And then see if it factors further, which it does. So factor this bracket by inspection, what multiplies for negative 8 but adds for negative 2. That is going to be, actually I'm going to move this over a little bit. That's going to be 2, and then negative 4, so y minus 4 and y plus 2. Right? That will multiply for negative 8 but still add for negative 2. And then, of course, we recognize that the y plus 2 can cancel. So now that we're down to our last step and everything is just one fraction with a bunch of factors, now is when you can start to simplify and cancel some stuff. So I can cross out this y plus 2. So my final answer will be 2 bracket y minus 4 over y minus 2. That's it. That's your simplified expression. We did our non-permissible values. We are good to go. Now, I just want to check something. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to end the video here and do the other examples as a separate video, which might sound crazy, but it's going to cut me off in a few minutes. And this is actually where I ended in class for a lot of the Group B students anyway. So it'll kind of work out to have 2 separate videos for this. All right. See you soon.